Here it is, the Kia Stinger. This is really the halo car for the Kia brand. They've never had a car like this before, and they really want to make a statement, not just about the Stinger specifically, but as the brand overall. So this is a car that really has no competition. The Kia Stinger competes with premium cars on design and size, but there really isn't a non-premium car that competes against the Stinger. The closest competitor probably is the Audi A5 Sportback, and on size, it's bigger than that car. It kind of falls between the A5 and the A7. I own an A7, and there's a lot of similarities from this car to that car. So what about design? It starts with the tiger nose grille that's common to all Kia cars. This car has a long hood, a sweeping fastback design. It's a rear-wheel drive bias car, and it has that look. Standard in Canada is the GT, and then optional is the GT Limited. Comes with 19-inch wheels, Brembo brakes, LED headlamps, and a very aggressive style. Now, some of the add-on pieces might not be for everybody's taste. The vents down the side of the body actually work to help hot air come out from the wheel well and the brakes. On the hood here, these are faux appliques to give it a GT look. And around the back of the car, it has a look that maybe is Maserati inspired with the taillights. You have to decide whether you think it's maybe overstyled or understyled. There's no question that Kia is taking chances and delivering a car that we've never really seen from a non-premium brand. Now, usually give the price at the end. I'm going to do it here at the beginning. This car starts at $44,195. That's for the GT with the V6 twin turbo. If you get the Limited with everything on it, it's $49,995, basically $50,000, which is $3,000 cheaper than the same car in the United States. That behind me is the Angeles Crest Highway, just outside of Los Angeles, a wonderful road to try this new Stinger. So what does a halo car mean? It's a car that's meant to get people excited about a brand, and Kia has thrown a lot at this car. So first of all of the Stingers that come to Canada are all-wheel drive. Even though it's all-wheel drive, it's a rear-wheel drive bias, meaning that under hard acceleration, or when the conditions are right, temperature-wise and grip, you can get 100% of torque to the rear wheels. And the split is maximum 50% to the front and 50 to the rear when you have slippage. Now, the nice thing is there's lots of different drive modes here. You can put it in sport, and that locks at 80% to the rear, 20% to the front. And what does a rear wheel bias car give you? Well, it gives you the ability to get it into the corners and balance it and really be on and off the throttle to help steer through the corner as well. Now, speaking of steering and handling, it's a very stiff platform. It's got adaptive suspension. However, I find even on the sportiest setting, the suspension is a little bit soft in the back, and you can kind of feel it bounce a little bit over bumps. But I think that's intentional, because this car was not meant to be a pure sports car. It's meant to be a GT, a Gran Turismo. Head out on a long drive, enjoy the curves and the corners, but also enjoy the cabin and a bit of a relaxed feel. Now, power is not an issue with this car. It's got a 3.3-liter twin turbo, 6-cylinder with 365 horsepower and 376 pound-feet of torque going through an 8-speed automatic transmission. And the 8-speed is not a dual clutch, even though Kia and Hyundai have dual clutches at their disposal. They've gone for a regular torque converter style system, but that seems to be the trend. A lot of companies are moving away from those dual clutches and back to this kind of system because it gives you better sort of in-city, on and off the throttle experience. A couple other things this car has. It's got torque vectoring. They use the brake to grab certain wheels to help you get around corners. One of the nice things though, this car has what are called staggered wheels, meaning the wheels at the back just a little bit wider than the wheels at the front. Also, with that rear wheel bias, helps get you through the corners and a little bit extra grip. And these are excellent tires. They're Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, and that's a high performance tire for what Kia is hoping is a car that people are gonna wanna buy. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, this car really has no direct competitors. It's fighting with the A5 Sportback, with the BMW 440 and so on. Now, it's not like those cars. It's got its own attitude, but considering the value, it's worth trying out. It's not a pure sports car. I want to get that over. It's a nice Gran Turismo, a touring car. That was the goal, and goal achieved. Now, my personal car is an Audi A7, which looks a lot like this car, or actually this looks a lot like an A7 or an Audi A5 Sportback. And what's the great thing about this Sportback configuration? Well, it's so easy to use, even for a family. So what you get is the sexy, stylish sedan with almost a coupe-like silhouette, but you get the functionality of a big hatch for loading things in and out of, just like a utility vehicle. So it brings up the question, what really is luxury? They point out that this car competes on power with many more expensive cars, and I would say the interior is just as nice as other brands as well. So let's go through it. You get standard heated and ventilated front seats and a standard heated steering wheel. You also get a 7-inch screen in the center of the dash, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Then you can jump up to the limited model. That gets you heated rear seats, an 8-inch head unit, and it also comes with wireless conductive charging along with a 360-degree camera configuration. So this car on size is between that A5 that I mentioned and the larger A7, which means it really can be used by all members of the family. The back seat is roomy, there's plenty of headroom and legroom. So I think they've done an excellent job providing luxury trim and features for a non-luxury brand. Kia wasn't afraid to put up the stinger against some heavy hitters. They had a bunch of cars for us to test drive, including the BMW 440 and the Audi A5 Sportback. Now, it wasn't exactly apples to apples. The 440 was rear-wheel drive, and the A4 had only the 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder. What it did show, however, is that this car really can compete. It's 8/10 of those vehicles. It does show its weight and the fact that the suspension is a little bit soft. But when you get in and out of the BMW, the Audi, and back into the Stinger, the interior of this new car really is a high point. So the styling of this Kia Stinger, some might like the cladding and some of the scoops and vents, others might not. But that really doesn't matter. The price tag, $50,000. It's a lot less than a lot of those premium brands, but still is an expensive Kia. That doesn't matter. Now the ride, it certainly has plenty of power. It's got all-wheel drive. For my taste, it could be a little bit stiffer, and it is a Grand Tourer. Some might like a little bit more performance, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that Kia actually made this car. This is a Korean brand that wants to make a statement about where they are. They have the #1 brand when it comes to initial quality from J.D. Power 2 years in a row, #3 in quality from Consumer Reports. And this is the kind of stuff they're putting out. Good times ahead if you're a Kia fan, or soon to be Kia fan.